It's an interesting conversation because I think you look at this situation with Michigan. The NCAA has let people involved in the investigation into the sign stealing scandal and the cover up of that stealing scandal. They have let everybody know that tomorrow they will announce the decisions and any attached penalties that will go along with that. Now, as we have told you on this show, our expectation and really my expectation, especially after talking to people around college football today, my expectation is that I don't think that you are going to see wins vacated. My feeling is you will not even see a postseason ban. I think the vitriol and the biggest penalties will be levied against Jim Harbaugh and Connor Stallions. I think there is those two. It's going to be very difficult for Jim Harbaugh and Connor Stallions to ever work in college football again. I think Sherrone Moore is probably going to get some more penalties, but Jake, under no circumstance do I expect the Michigan football program to get a postseason ban or have wins vacated. I just don't think the NCAA is in that business.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely the fascinating part of the conversation because, Ross Dellinger puts out this massive art, an expansive article today about the whole situation, talking about how, and everyone's talked about this, that 6 of the 11 offenses are level 1 offenses according to the NCAA, and what that would look like from a disciplinary standpoint, and that
Yeah.
Michigan is preparing a whole legal defense to go ahead and sue the NCAA based on the discipline they hand down. So I would agree. I don't think the NCAA really wants anything to do with some legal fight, but I do think they have a responsibility to make sure that the main suspects are disciplined here. And Jim Harbaugh's already got a 4-year show cause notice for the COVID stuff, and so I don't feel like it would be a stretch to go ahead and extend that out another 5 years, 6 years. Like, that just doesn't seem like that much more, given the fact that the guy's already in the NFL and wasn't probably ever going to come back to college football anyway.
Oh,
So
I don't agree with that at all. I think Jim Harbaugh would love to come back. Frankly, I don't think that POS would have ever left Michigan if he would have, if he knew that he was not going to get knocked down. I think he would have stayed at Michigan. But I think the biggest issue and what Michigan fan doesn't want to talk about is that it is without question now. Michigan's forever now damaged goods. They're known as cheating scumbags. Nobody recognizes their championship. Nobody recognizes Jim Harbaugh as some amazing coach. Jim Harbaugh is a scumbag liar who repeatedly and continuously and continues to, in my opinion, damage the Michigan football brand for his own self-preservation. I think you look at all of the figures at Michigan at that time. Santa Ono's a disgrace. I think you look at Jim Harbaugh, he is absolutely a disgrace. The worst athletic director in the history of college athletics, the worst chairman of the selection committee in the history of the selection committee. They're all disgraces. And you look at those stains. That never goes away. Sherrone Moore will in all likelihood never be a head coach once he is inevitably fired or walks away from Michigan. They're all disgraced. And the truth of the matter is, it almost, to me, if I were the NCAA, I don't think I could be harsh enough. But the NCAA, I don't believe that the NCAA will ever vacate another win. I just don't think. I think they understand that there's no win in that. There's no value in that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the game didn't happen. The win has already been vacated because I think we all know what a horrendous, morally bankrupt, ethically lacking, just example of absolute embarrassment Michigan football was and is now. I mean, Sherrone Moore is, in my opinion, absolutely one of the guilty parties here. You don't erase text messages when you're innocent. You don't have a 4-year show cause notice when you're innocent. You can't anymore. And this is what the really sad, foolish Michigan fan just can't comprehend. You don't go and do what Jim Harbaugh did when you're innocent. You don't go and do what Sherrone Moore did when you're innocent. Nobody recognizes your championship. It's one of the absolute blights on the face of all college football. We all know that Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines should never have been part of that postseason. They never won a championship. To me, they're an embarrassment. And I think the damage that they've done to college football in the Big Ten is irreparable. Nobody will ever recognize that championship as whole. The NCAA's job is not to try and vacate that championship. That championship stands as one of the absolute morally bankrupt eras in the history of Michigan football. And it does not stand, and I think only Michigan fans don't get this. It's not an example of supremacy. It's not an example of great football. It's not an example of achievement. It's an example of exactly what no university wants to be. A bunch of scumbag cheating losers who couldn't win a big game until Connor Stallions showed up. Captain America, Mr. Jim Harbaugh, who's Michigan football. He's a Michigan man who left you high and dry to get absolutely clobbered by the NCAA. That's what Michigan football is. They're a fraud. They're an embarrassment. And second only to Epstein U, they're one of the biggest problems in the history of the Big Ten. And I think that's the punishment that they're never going to get away from. Vacating wins, what does it matter? What does it matter?
It doesn't. It doesn't.
It does absolutely nothing.
I think that the point about, like how much value is there in not only Michigan, but like the Big Ten, college football, just the footballing world being able to put this nonsense behind us, I think is part of the question with this discipline, in my opinion. If you're the NCAA, like you certainly can't go light on them. You don't want to just eviscerate them off the planet with your discipline. So you have to find you have to find that middle ground. And I think the fight is going to be the fact that, Michigan wants to sit here and say things like, well, the NCAA, is going to hammer us and their punishments are the verbiage they use, isn't bored out by the evidence. Essentially, you don't have enough evidence for the punishments you're giving us, which to me is a shockingly weak defense when you consider how much evidence is in this case. Everything from text messages to testimony to video, like they've got the whole 9 yards, bro, in terms of evidence and layers of evidence and all of that. So I sit here and I look at it and I say, I just hope that the punishment that they hand down tomorrow, allegedly around lunchtime, if you listen to the pundits, is punishment that will be remembered for many, many years to come. And I hope a deterrent, because ultimately this is kind of the NCAA's last hurrah here as far as disciplining people and being that body. There's obviously we have this new disciplinary board that's being created. So I just hope that I hope what it doesn't turn into is like, oh, well, they went super light or they went super heavy and Michigan got off free, or this is way too much. Like, I don't want it to be I don't want that to be the conversation. I want it to be like, hey, yeah, you committed the crime. You got a fair and just response out of the NCAA. And now we can all move along with our life and not talk about you.
I don't think listen, I got bad news for you. If you're hoping that they're going to vacate this championship, I've talked to too many presidents and athletic directors in the last 3 months who understand, I think what most people understand, there is no vacating. You're not going to vacate that national championship, and you're not going to vacate those wins. I think what is likely to happen is you are going to have a massive show cause order on Jim Harbaugh and Connor Stallions. They'll never coach in college football again. I think Sherrone Moore is going to face a multi-game suspension for deleting those text messages. And I think you may, in addition to that, don't be surprised if that's all you get. But I think the question is, does the Committee on Infractions have round support to do something like a postseason ban? What does banning Michigan or do in terms of fixing the injustice? Nothing. People want it to be punitive. The NCAA has never been punitive. They have never, even with those scumbags in Happy Ending Valley, what did they really do that was punitive?
Mm-hmm.
They still have a football program. Like, did we really vacate? Like, you didn't do any of that, right?
Do you think it should be punitive though? Like,
I absolutely think it should. If it were up to me, Michigan would not be in the postseason for 3 years. They would have zero ability to recruit off campus for 3 years. I would reduce their scholarships. Sherrone Moore would be suspended for the entire season. And if they appeal it, what I would do is I would actually penalize the current staff at Michigan in a way that says, okay, it's a 2-year suspension with 1 year stayed, with the understanding that you will serve the 1 year and you will not have any contact of any kind, not a phone call, not a text message, not free cheeseburgers for hungry kids, no contact with that football department, period. Ward Manuel would be suspended for 2 years, staying 1 year, which means, hey, if you do well the first year, great, you can come back after 1 year. I would give that penalty to Sherrone Moore and Ward Manuel. I would give the interim coach no ability to recruit off campus. I would give Michigan football no ability to recruit off campus for 3 years. And Jim Harbaugh and Connor Stallions would never be a part of college football again. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
And
I don't feel like that's obtuse. I don't feel like that's over the top. I feel like that's pretty spot on.
Right. But the issue and the problem is that you're not going to do a postseason ban, in my opinion. There's no precedent for that. And I think when you look at what the real likelihood, if we go beyond 5-game suspensions for Sherrone Moore, if we go beyond that, it's limiting their ability to recruit and limiting their scholarship numbers. I think that is the most severe that you can expect. I think the likelihood is the heaviest weight is going to fall on Jim Harbaugh and Connor Stallions, because that's a paper championship. And that's what the NCAA is and has always been. My question is, if that's all you're going to do, why did it take so long? If that's all you were going to do, why did it take so long?
No
I have
idea.
I have a hard time believing that. And I was talking to some people in the know today who said they thought that it was going to be anybody who was at Michigan when Connor Stallions was at Michigan. And because what the NCAA is going to come out and say is we have verifiable evidence that a sign stealing operation from a forward position took place. Because again, I want people to understand stealing signs is not illegal. That is not punishable. It's not illegal. What's illegal is the operation to send people to other sites. It is a violation of the advanced scouting rules and guidelines. So the issue becomes, what is the evidence really showing you? Well, people are really pissed off that Michigan used that information to go on and win a national championship, which I think most people agree they did.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, how big is the crime? I think it is a crime of morality. It is a crime of ethics. The bigger issue was Jim Harbaugh's level 1 violations for misrepresenting truths and facts. And I think that's something that Sherrone Moore is going to face now. I am told that Sherrone Moore will absolutely be handled as a repeat offender. So my guess is he's going to get people want him to get Michigan people think that this 2-game self-imposed suspension where he gets to pick the games that he misses, the NCAA is not going to do that. That's not a penalty. That's not a suspension. So I think Sherrone Moore's looking at 5 games. And I think that if you were in the program when that happened, you're looking at a show cause order. Because what you did, and this is the hard part again, how big really is the crime? That's the question. The bigger crime here is they were not honest about what happened. They have evidence that Sherrone Moore was not honest with the Committee on Infractions. He was not honest with the investigators. What happens previously in experience and in history, what happens when you are not honest with the Committee on Infractions, when you are not honest with investigators at the NCAA? What happens? Well, what happens is you get smacked in the bag over it. Mm-hmm. That's what happens. And I think what you're seeing is that Michigan is going to get penalized for that. I don't believe that there's some huge suspension related to stealing signs. I don't believe there's some death penalty for stealing signs because that's not some huge thing. I think it's much more the cover-up than the crime.
Of course. And I think that's fine. I think that in this case, though, the NCAA can't ever have this happen again. And even in my viewpoint is going into the future, because that's what this punishment should be about. It's not necessarily, oh, well, hey, they committed this crime and we're just trying to find the perfect, punishment for the crime. I also think part of it is like, hey, we need to deter people in the future from thinking that this is okay or that somehow they could do anything on this scale again. And I think to me, that's where I think the recruiting ban stuff, the limiting their ability to recruit off campus, anything to do with bringing in talent, in a myriad of different ways now that coaches have to do that. You need to limit that stuff. That's where like the whole crowd that's like, hey, I want a postseason ban or I want wins vacated. That's what you should be focused on. Focused on hurting them in recruiting, because that's ultimately, whether anyone wants to admit it or not, that's essentially the same thing as vacating wins. You're taking wins away from them by removing future talent from the program that they would have gotten.
I don't believe, and with all due respect to Big Ten fan who's like, oh, they have to vacate wins. They don't have to vacate wins. Anybody telling you that vacating anything is a punishment doesn't know what they're talking about. Because vacating anything, you go back and look at the USC situation. What was the single biggest mistake they made? Well, they tried to vacate national championships and vacate wins. You go back to Epstein University. What was the biggest mistake they made? They tried to vacate this or that's not a penalty.
What does it do?
Yeah. It's not a penalty. You have to make a decision on if you're going to be punitive. And what I mean is, and this has always been the trouble that the NCAA has had. Are you willing to punish the players who are on this team now for the sins of the players of the past? Are you willing to punish future generations of Michigan football fans and Michigan football players and the Big Ten for what happened in the past? My belief is you have no choice, and I believe you have to. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that the NCAA ever wants to do that. And I think the NCAA is always looking for a way to do that. And I think I don't believe that that's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think they have a responsibility to it. But I also agree with you that, it would be, it would definitely be a little out of character for them to do that. No question about it. And that's the hard part is like, I feel like tomorrow is this day where, if we get some just cakewalk of a, situation here as far as discipline is concerned, people, we're going to spend the next couple of days talking about, talking about that and being frustrated with that, and Michigan's fans going to be like, "Oh, I told you so," and got you, yada yada yada, as usual. And I just think that as usual, like, it's in life, it's very much a situation of, hey, if you got away with a crime, if you will, and everyone knows you committed the crime, we're still going to look at you the same way. We know what you did here, whether the NCAA drops the hammer on you or not. Like, we know what went down here, and if they do drop the hammer and you want to sue them to high hell, great. You go ahead and knock yourself out, Michigan. But I think you're gonna have a real hard time overcoming the evidence that they have in this case.
Yeah, we'll see. I think a lot of people have misconstrued what this is. And I think, the idiot Michigan fan that's like, slap him on the wrist. I love that Michigan fan now has moved to, quote unquote, let's move on with our lives. I love that that's where, like, all the Michigan fans tweeting at me today when this came out, and, oh, it's a slap on the wrist and we're just going to move on. I think you guys have to understand that your school is a bunch of scumbag, losing, cheating liars who could not win an NCAA championship in football without Connor Stallions, because your coach, Jim Harbaugh, has never been able to win the championship. He's not the coach that puts a team over the top anywhere he's been. He just isn't that guy. And the sad thing is, and this is, I think, the biggest indictment on that coaching staff, including Sherrone Moore, who, again, I say is just another guy. I don't think he's special or unique in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
They had all the talent in the world. They had plenty of talent on the defense. Granted, you were strapped with a mediocre quarterback and a mediocre running back, but you had a really good offensive line. Like, you had everything you needed to win. And you just knew you couldn't get it done as a coaching staff. So you did what had to be done. And I love all the idiots who are like, oh, he was a lone wolf. There's no evidence Connor Stallions acted of his own volition.
Nope.
If he acted of his own volition, why the text messages that we've now seen talking about Michigan State? Why the text messages that we've now seen about Central Michigan staff coming to visit the university? Why the text messages that we've now seen between Sherrone Moore and Connor Stallions, the deleted text message? Why delete those text messages? If he was a lone wolf who acted of his own volition, why delete text messages?
You understand there's Connor Stallions text messages they have that literally say things like, hey, Sherrone, I have a really, I think the word was juicy, report for you on Wisconsin. You're going to love this scouting report that I have for you on this team or that team. Like they've got, it's very clear. So if you're, and we'll get into the comments in a minute, but if you're in the comments today saying things like he was a lone wolf, or if you're still dying on that hill, you can die alone on that hill, because there is no, I don't care who you are, there is nothing here that supports the idea that this guy just acted on his own and was playing Superman, and he had no help and he had no support and nobody knew who he was, even though, the whole Central Michigan thing was cooked up by the Michigan staff. Like we know these things now, dude. Like,
and the thing that I don't understand is, why does Michigan fan run away from the fact you only won a national championship because you were put in position by Connor Stallions? Why do you, and the thing that I don't understand about Michigan fan, why do you continue to this day to defend Jim Harbaugh? Jim Harbaugh's a scumbag. He's a liar. Jim Harbaugh is a guy that has put you in a situation where nobody recognizes the championship you cheated your way to winning. And this guy is still your folk hero. This is a guy that you were all okay with, that the Michigan fans of the world and the thousands who have been on this show talking about how, oh, it was okay that he was being offered the largest contract in the history of college football coaching. It was okay that Santa Ono, the president, was going to give him full financial shield from any NCAA violations. Why do you still to this day defend him? I don't understand it. I just don't. Because all Jim Harbaugh has done is take a dump all over the ethics, legacy, and reputation of the University of Michigan repeatedly. When he stands up and says, we acted with integrity, I had no idea. There's overwhelming evidence to the contrary.
Yeah.
And I go back to the cheeseburgers. I go back to, oh, I didn't know they were in the restaurant. I don't recall. Like, there's overwhelming evidence, and yet you guys still think Jim Harbaugh's a Michigan man and the finest cut and caliber of Michigan man. And you know what the truth is? I think you're right. I think Jim Harbaugh is the finest cut of Michigan man, which is why now forever you're a bunch of scumbag, loser, liar, ethically and morally bankrupt people. Because Jim Harbaugh is the highest class and cut of Michigan man. And you want to defend him. And I'll never understand it.
Redefining what a Michigan man is, apparently.
Why are you defending? I'll never get it. Why are you excited that Sherrone Moore's your head coach? He's a liar. He has proven now and admittedly deleted text messages. He is a repeat NCAA violator. You cannot trust his word. You cannot trust his actions.
Do you understand?
He has not shown you that he can win. He has not shown you that he can win football games. Why on earth? And what is it that Sherrone Moore has shown you that makes you think he's the right guy to lead this program out of this darkness? What is it? And yet you want to defend this guy
to the death.
I'll never understand it. I will never understand it. And the evidence against Sherrone Moore is unequivocal. It's not equivocal. It's not a question.
I just thought it was so rich that the excuse as to why you deleted the text messages was, oh, I wasn't trying to hide anything. I was just so angry that, Connor would do something like this. That's the best you have?
The text messages he deleted don't have Connor admitting to anything. They're talking about game plans and juicy playbooks. And so what in those text messages were you angry about? It just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. Sherrone Moore has shown you nothing. He has shown you no ability to develop a player. He has shown, you look at what J.J. McCarthy is with the Vikings right now.
Man, really blowing your doors off, dude.
Right? He wasn't great with Michigan. I laugh. I laugh. We had somebody in the comment section the other day, I can't remember who it was, talking about, Connor Stalions is the best quarterback in the history of Michigan football. Or J.J. McCarthy is the best quarterback in the history of Michigan football. And I'm like, are you out of your mind? Do you not know? Have you never heard of Chad Henne? Do you like guys who actually accomplish something?
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind? That's the stuff I don't know. Why go hyperbolic and way over the top in defending that? Because there's just no reason to. And hey, listen, you won a national championship, dude. Wear the t-shirts, wear the hats. Remember all the beer you drank, because that's all you got to hang on to, because nobody recognizes you. Nobody. I am amazed that people will tell you, oh, Sherrone Moore,
Monty,
like the argument of Connor Stalions, and I agree, Connor Stalions did not admit to a sign stealing operation in any of those text messages with Sherrone Moore. But Michigan fan they just can't stop at that. Oh, there was nothing. There's no evidence of anything in those text messages. Why do you delete them? Oh, he was a lone wolf. Well, then Jim Harbaugh had to be fired. But I just said he's a lone wolf. Well, it's called lack of institutional control.
Oh, forgot about that, didn't you?
Jim Harbaugh, who's this amazing head coach, he had no idea what his analyst was doing. Okay, so that analyst and the offensive coordinator text back and forth on a regular basis. And you're telling me that Jim Harbaugh didn't know what the analyst was telling the offensive coordinator, so the offensive coordinator and Jim Harbaugh don't talk? That could be possible. You know how we know? Because nobody likes Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is notorious for not getting along with his staff, not being easy to deal with, not being a likable head coach for his players. But none of that says Jim Harbaugh is innocent. Because if he knew, well, he's the scumbag, cheating liar we all believe him to be, he should have been fired. If he didn't know, he's not in control of your football program, and he should be fired for a lack of institutional control. Oh, well, Sherrone Moore was just doing his job as a coach. Okay. So only the head coach is held to the standard of institutional. Oh, wait, no, that's not true. It doesn't say just the head coach. So Sherrone Moore wasn't communicating with the head coach then, is what you're saying. So is Sherrone Moore the guy you want to lead your program when he thinks it's okay to undermine the head? You can't have it both ways. Oh, there was nothing. There was no admitting. There's no evidence at all in those text messages. Why did he delete them? As a repeat offender with the NCAA. Why do you repeat them? Well, because I think he knows what's in those text messages is incredibly incriminating. And that's why he deleted them. He didn't want to get caught with it.
Yep.
Didn't want to get caught with it. So.
And then you tried to save yourself by turning your phone in, and then they imaged your phone and got all the text messages. And so that's why I say anybody who's sitting here being like, oh, they don't have evidence. What evidence do they have, Monty? They've got loads of evidence, dude. This is not in question.
Yeah, if you're going to, and listen, if you're going to defend Sherrone Moore, I just tell you, tell me why. Why is Sherrone Moore the guy that you're going to die on the Sherrone Moore hill for? Because I will never understand. I get that you guys see a guy who, like, what was he, 8-5 last year, 1-0 the year before that, 9-5. Like, he won the ReliaQuest Bowl.
Man, wow.
Like, what is it that we're hanging on to where we believe that Sherrone Moore, he should be lauded as somebody that is amazing.
I mean, isn't he one of the most unproven head coaches in college football? I mean, I agree. Like, I guess the overreaching point is I agree with the sentiment that Michigan fan, and this is probably most normal Michigan fans, we just don't hear from them as much on this, but Michigan fans should be like, hey, yeah, this happened. Let's just take it on the chin and move along with it. Like, this happened. The evidence says it happened. Let's, get rid of all these bad people in the program and let's start again. I mean, this is not a new concept in life.
Yeah. I think it's remarkable. Obviously he's going to hang on to the Ohio State win. And that, I think, is the ultimate justice, is that the worst athletic director in college football goes on to he made every effort to screw Ohio State. They go on the greatest single run to win a championship that we've ever seen.
Yep.
And all the Sherrone Moore supporters are like, well, you beat Ohio State. Yeah. What happened against Oregon and Texas when you got your ass handed to you? Great recruiter, Monty. Well, what happened? Not against Texas and Oregon. How'd those recruits work out? Right? Like, I don't understand why you guys defend them. Let's get into the comment section. I'm sure this will be just a grand old time. John Hamm for $5. The problem NCAA has is UM. You mean Michigan? It's not UM. It's not UM. Michigan would just take them to court if it's too extreme. They wouldn't. Michigan won't sue, because I think the one thing I agree with Michigan fan is they need a win and they need to move on. And if there's no postseason ban, they're not suing. And I think it's hysterical to me that Michigan fans like, we're suing no matter what. I think if you sue no matter what, you're gonna fall down a very dark place.
You are foolish.
Yeah. Take them to court if too extreme, like Penn State did. Nothing was too extreme for Penn State. Brian for $2. They literally won it without Stallions. No, they did not.
What do you
How
mean?
did they win it without Stallions? I'm going to say they didn't win it without Stallions. And I love that Michigan fan can't make a positive statement about that year without saying literally. So it was figurative. Like 2024, Ohio State lost to 23 Michigan bench. That's the funny part. Right, but they went on to win the national championship. So how funny is it? Like they did it legitimate. They didn't cheat. They didn't commit all kinds of NCAA violations. I know that Ryan Day's brother, according to your great Michigan podcasts, is a private investigator. And funny part is, Ohio State didn't have to have their offensive coordinator on computers victimizing young women and men across the country, allegedly. They just went out and won every game in the playoff that you guys weren't a part of. And their playoff win actually came without committing massive NCAA violations.
And I would just like to correct you on one thing.
So,
Michigan was a part of that with Ward Manuel and the hardest path ever for anyone to win a national championship, dude.
which I think is hysterical.
So you can sit here again. This might be the best example. This is what I mean about Michigan guy. You want to talk about some meaningless regular season game. These homies just went out and played, 4 of the biggest games in college football history to win a national championship. Like, come on, bro.
And I think the other part is that I love it. I think when you look at the way that the 2023 team, they don't win the championship without Connor Stallions. And obviously the inference is in whatever Brian's $2 comment was, they literally won it without Stallions. You didn't win anything without Connor Stallions, because without Connor Stallions, you're not in the position that you're in. You're not in the Big Ten championship game.
I know that's rocket science, dude.
You're not in that position because you're not winning those games without Connor Stallions. That you're not, and I think Michigan fan doesn't want to have to own up to that. Well, on this show where we don't kiss your ass or anybody's ass, you have to live up to the truth. And the truth is, Jim Harbaugh could not win a game until Connor Stallions put his operation into effect.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't win a big game. Could not. It's not in question. Go back and look at the record book. Like it is so amazing to me. And you just won't own up to it, which is fine. Again, if I was fine being morally bankrupt and just soulless, I probably wouldn't own up to what Michigan did either. Yeah, Michigan fans are delusional. They are. I think it's remarkable how willing Michigan fans are to be blind and to support Jim Harbaugh. I'm amazed. Mike Smith, Michigan State, Northwestern, and Ohio State, all perverts, but nowhere near the level of other big schools. The other big school, Pedo State. And it's a huge problem in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
it is.
Well, just
and especially in the
generally. They've always got something going on.
In the state of Michigan, it's remarkable to me that you have the heinous scandals at Michigan State. And then you have no moral code and no ethics at Michigan. And whether it is the repression of First Amendment rights by your president, whether it is, the Harbaugh brothers facilitating the actions of Matt Weiss, and then Michigan fan denying that the FBI was on campus,
and then look at Jim McElwain taking it to the lower levels of college football, bro. Like, what?
It's wild. And then you look at what happened at Central Michigan. It's crazy. John says the whole thing is the equivalent of corporate espionage, and I would hope that they levy like consequences. How data acquired used in conspiracy to cover up civil type penalties are appropriate? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And I think I think it is.
All I'm asking is just get it right. Just get the punishment right. Right? Like, don't go way
Maybe.
too light. Don't go nuclear. Just give us a good, solid discipline for the actions, dude. One that disciplines them now, and one that has some future pricing on it that's not too heavy. Like it,
Yeah.
like if we can sit here and talk about like all the things that you mentioned about like, hey, not being able to recruit off campus, all those different things that we mentioned earlier in the show. Like, if we can sit here and put that together in 5 minutes, like, I just don't think it's that hard. And I think the best point is, hey, why is it taking so long if it's just going to be a 5-game suspension and a bowl ban?
Because
Like,
I don't even think it'll be a bowl ban. I don't believe that. I think it's going to be really heavy punishment for Jim Harbaugh and Connor Stallions. And I think Sherrone Moore is going to get a maximum of 5 games. And I think you may see scholarship reductions. I don't even know that they'll go that far. I just don't know that they'll go that far. If it were me, I certainly, like I said, I would be much tougher because I think what Michigan did was erode the belief system of college football fans that there's integrity in the game. Because, I mean, it's not, and as much as Michigan fans want to stick their heads up their own asses. Like, I mean, I know it's dark up there, but even in that darkness, you can see that there's no ethics in Ann Arbor.
yeah,
There's no rules. There's no law. There's no gatekeeper. Ward Manuel very clearly, based on his actions and what he's overseen there, does not care about following rules and regulations. You can just look at the Juwan Howard issues. You can look at all the things with Jim Harbaugh. You have a guy in Sherrone Moore who's now a multi-time NCAA violator. Hired him as the head coach, even though you knew that was the case at the time. You wanted to make Jim Harbaugh the highest paid coach in the history of college football, even though you knew what he was involved in. You knew Ward Manuel was the athletic director who oversaw Matt Weiss. There's no rules and laws there. There's no effort to do the right thing at Michigan. What evidence would we have from Santa Ono trying to, put fear into protesters on campus? Again, Juwan Howard, we've even talked about that. Like, there's no guardrails in place. I mean, it's remarkable to me that a fine institution like Michigan allowed this to happen to the point where their reputation is forever damaged. That is a school that will never be clear of this scandal.
no.
And it was all self-made. It was all self-made because you hired the wrong guy in Jim Harbaugh. You hired the wrong guy. And it's amazing. Alex Harris, Monty really thinks Michigan is a scumbag university, but his opinion is invalid. Connor was on the staff since 2016. Our coordinator hires is what made us elite. No, it's not.
Bro.
No, it is not.
What?
The truth of the matter is you couldn't win games until he did what he did. You could not win games until Connor Stallions put on the sunglasses with the little blinking light and then stood right next to Sherrone Moore and stood right next to Jim Harbaugh on the sideline. You can live in this fantasy world and I hear this one all the time. I did a interview spot on Detroit Sports Radio 6-8 months ago when we were talking about this. And like we had a caller call in who said, well, Connor Stallions had been on staff since 2016 and he never got caught. So what makes you think, what makes you think that he wasn't doing this in 2016? The evidence. And when I said the evidence, oh, well, what are you talking about? What I'm specifically talking about is his publicly available Venmo account, his publicly available cloud account, like the people who he he used to go to those venues doing interviews and telling us what he did and how they got paid. And it's not a question of when and how. That's not the question, man.
And look at the wins.
They have video of people in all those stadiums. It's not a question of when Connor Stalions did what Connor Stalions did. His ticket account, I think it was Ticketmaster, his publicly available ticket account where he purchased tickets to all those venues, his publicly available Venmo account. Like, you guys, you can keep living in this nonsense at 2016. It doesn't. They don't win the Big Ten championship. They don't go to the playoff if Connor Stalions doesn't do what the evidence says he did.
Yeah, that's just facts, man.
What are you talking about?
And again, this is what I mean. This is the, hey, we're going to lie to ourselves about what this really is type material right here, in my opinion.
Eric Wasikowski, 8-5 in his first year. Who, Sherrone? And that's something to celebrate? The great recruiter, Sherrone Moore? Wasn't he, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but are you impressed with I think he was just 500. I think it was 5-4 in the Big Ten last year. In a really shitty Big Ten, he was 5-4, and we're going to write home and say, "Oh my God, Sherrone Moore is our savior."
Apparently.
Don't you have to be better than that? Dude, I sit here every day and bitch about the fact that Notre Dame doesn't have a quarterback, and people are lauding Marcus Freeman as one of the best head coaches in college football. We don't have a quarterback. And you're going to say 8-5 and 5-4 in conference is a great year? A win in the ReliaQuest Bowl is a great year? Come on, man. Like that, this is the stuff that I just won't this is how far Michigan football has fallen. Come on.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Come on, you got to be better than that. Harbaugh as a coach, 3-5, a losing record to thee. It's not. Listen, and I understand Michigan fans don't want to hear this. Ohio State fans don't want to hear this, right? Rivalry games are rivalry games for a reason. I mean, you look at recent rivalry games. You look at Travis Hunter 2 years ago getting blown up against Colorado State. You look at BYU and Utah last year and Mark Harlan losing his mind. You look at the ending of the Iron Bowl, or you look at all these rivalry games and the crazy things that have happened in those games, and you're going to tell me that, like, I think it's really rich when Michigan fans like, well, we're the reason that Ohio State won the national championship. Fuck off. No, you are not. You played zero role in Ohio State winning a championship last year. We used to have a drop where the head coach at Indiana says Ohio State, but we don't play drops on the show anymore. Thank you. But Ohio State played no role in Michigan winning a championship last year. Like, you not only can't own your own stuff, but now you want to take credit for Ohio State winning a championship last year.
Ohio State?
Come on, man. Like, at least be self-effacing about it, right? Like, come on. Moore was the guy on the grassy knoll during the Chippewas providing cover for Connor. I think that's not that far off. Me and Monty really need to meet and talk Michigan Notre Dame football.
No, I don't think so, dude.
Admit that you guys cheated your way to a championship, and I'll fly to Florida tomorrow. Like, you know, it just is what it is. Brian Murphy, you of Michigan fans like Pac-2 fans both lack honesty.
Yeah.
Okay. Pac-12 catching strays. Best Michigan quarterback was TB10. Tom Brady wasn't a great quarterback at Michigan. Are we talking about pro football? Okay, great. I don't even hesitate to say I think it was probably Chad Henne, because I think what Chad Henne did at Michigan was amazing. J.J. McCarthy ain't even in the conversation of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Nope.
And it's, again, Michigan fan unable to let go of that year where all those scumbags cheated to win. Oh, well, he won a championship, greatest of all time. Tells me all I need to know. Ralph White, Sherrone Moore has more top 2 wins. I love this stat too. You got
Shut
your
the
ass,
fuck up.
You got your
come
ass
on.
handed to you by Texas. Like, you were never in that game. And we're going to sit here and we're going to say, well, I mean, let me tell you something about Sherrone Moore at Michigan. More top 2 wins than my mom's aunt has tits. Like, it's wow. Nothing Sherrone Moore did last year was impressive.
Why do we work so hard to make these
amazing.
guys out to be superheroes and incredible coaches and oh my God, when they're not? I'm not even a Big Ten fan. Like, I'm not even like emotionally married to any of these teams. And I'm just sitting here saying, like, you're trying to reference some obscure stat about top 2 wins.
Yeah.
Again, and that's more than the rest of the Big Ten coaches combined. Yeah, he sucks. I got news for you, dude. They haven't done a damn thing since that national championship game. So if you wanna sit here and you want to tell yourself, oh, well, I'm going to lean on this stat and that stat, and oh my God, like Sherrone's the best. Okay, cool. Actually, keep Sherrone Moore. Keep Sherrone Moore. Because if you do that, you're not going to win national championships. You're not going to recruit. No question about it. You're not going to recruit on the level you need to keep up with the SEC and the Big Ten.
You lost to Indiana, man.
What are we doing, dude?
Your losses last year, and I hope people understand, this is how great Sherrone Moore was at Michigan. You got boat raced by Texas, curb stomped by Washington, throttled by Illinois, absolutely wrecked by Oregon, and you lost to Indiana, who showed up in the college football playoff, well, really didn't show up, right? Like, and that's what you're hanging on to. You weren't even ranked halfway through the season. Oh, great season, Sherrone Moore. More top 2 wins against my cousin's sewing circle than any other.
Google me.
Shut up. Like, just be, at some point, you need to be self-effacing. That's all. I'm not asking you to, you're not going to mea culpa, but come on. At least be honest. Prediction: NCAA will demand some money from one of the 5 richest athletics. I think it's probably a $10 million fine. That there's not going to be, I'm telling you, Michigan fan is going to show up. Well, we're not doing a show tomorrow, but Michigan fan's going to show up tomorrow and be like, oh my God, wow, we're the best. See, nobody thinks we did anything. That's what Michigan fans going to say. That's what they're going to say. I just, come on. Ralph Wolf, dude, guys have coached 20 years and they have 0. Who cares?
Who cares?
Sherrone Moore lost the only games that mattered last year because Michigan fan, oh, we're going back to back. We don't need Harbaugh. Come on. Because you were 8-5 and you weren't ranked halfway through the year. And I probably should go back and check that. I'm pretty sure you weren't ranked after week 7 or 8.
Dude, going 8-5 in the Big Ten is nothing special, dude.
Come on.
There's 5 wins baked into your schedule every year.
Yeah. I just don't.
Like, I'm not trying to be a jag about it, but dude, like, this is a ridiculous take. Like,
but listen. Michigan fan, I encourage you to speak your bit today. Like, I'm not here to, but if you're going to come in and say that Sherrone Moore is some kind of legend, no, he's not. Sherrone Moore is a habitual rule breaker and is a guy who has accomplished nothing. Nothing. He has accomplished nothing. You've accomplished so little that you guys at Michigan constantly talk down to and talk about how shitty Ohio State is. But now all of a sudden you're responsible for their national championship. And Sherrone's an amazing head coach because he has a win over Ohio State. So is Sherrone amazing for beating Ohio State? Or is Ohio State just that team in Columbus who sucks? Which is what you all always say.
That's what it is.
Come on. Hero 75. I think Michigan needs to pay 3 to 4 times whatever money they got for winning the championship as a fine if the win isn't taken away. The win will not be taken away.
Yeah, the win won't be taken away. Yeah.
They're not going to vacate wins. I don't see it that way. Jedi Buck, Moore might not coach this year. That's a possibility. More than one person has said that they believe he could get a full year suspension. I don't think that's happening.
I think their question.
You had hard evidence against Jim Harbaugh when he was the coach, and you gave him a nothing suspension. You gave him a suspension that wasn't a suspension.
Yeah, I mean, I think this question about like how big of a deal is this to the NCAA? Like what kind of crime? Like from the NCAA's perspective, what kind of crime are we talking about here? I think it's a really valid question.
What is the crime? What is the crime? Because every delusional anti-Michigan fan's like, sign stealing, death penalty. Sign stealing's not against the rules. This is not a sign stealing punishment.
I don't know if people realize this. It actually says, I looked this up today, in the NCAA rulebook, it says that you're allowed to use the television broadcast and then, of course, the tape provided to every team to steal signs. Like, it doesn't say, if you go and actually look at the rulebook, it doesn't say sign stealing is illegal. Advanced scouting is illegal.
Yes.
But nobody wants to use that term because that's what this is. Everyone just skips through. Oh, well, they stole signs. It's not illegal. No. It's not that they stole the signs, which, by the way, I think is a massive indictment on all these other teams. By the way, I do agree with that. It shouldn't be that easy to get your signs, but you went out to other people's buildings and had people taking videos, and like, you were advanced scouting, which again, everybody and their mom agreed not to do.
And I go back to what I said previously about Sherrone or Connor Stalions. I think Connor Stalions is a victim. I think Connor Stalions did exactly what he was told to do. And I think he did it at an exceptionally high level. I know that this is contrary to popular opinion. I think Connor Stalions is an excellent analyst, and if Notre Dame wants to hire him, please do. Because I think he has that mind of a guy that understands how to digest information and data and leverage it. And do I think what he did was egregious and he is a terrible human? Sorry, bud, I don't. I think what Connor Stalions did was everything he was told to and allowed to. And that's not his fault. You are somebody who's trying to do your job. He is a Michigan-obsessed fan. And I am not surprised he did what he did, because I know the people he was reporting to don't have ethics and morals. We've seen that repeatedly at Michigan. And I think the biggest issue is, my opinion is, Jim Harbaugh knew he could only get this team to the trough. He couldn't make them drink. I think that's the most likely explanation for everything that happened at Michigan. Jim Harbaugh took that job and he thought he was going to be a hero. Jim Harbaugh took that job and he thought he was going to be a legend. He thought there were going to be statues and plaques and retired this and I'm this. Harbaugh Field, Harbaugh swimming pool, Harbaugh shit stack. Like, he thought he was going to have it all. Right up until the point where he couldn't win a big game. And he couldn't win a national championship. And he had trouble beating And my opinion is, because I've covered Jim Harbaugh on a daily basis with the San Francisco 49ers. Jim Harbaugh is not a nice guy. In my opinion, Jim Harbaugh is nothing short of the quintessential living embodiment of an asshole. He is not a good person, in my opinion. And guys like that are in, and put them in the NFL because that's where they belong. They have no business being college football coaches. Urban Meyer should never coach again anywhere ever. And certainly not in college football. And the truth is, Jim Harbaugh did what he had to do, and he thought he was above reproach. He thought he was above the rules and laws. So he lied, and he hid, and he got slapped by the NCAAs for giving cheeseburgers to hungry kids, which it turned out never happened. And so what did he have to lose? He knew that he was leaving the entire year. And go back and check the record. I told you leading up to him going that he was leaving. He was never going to stay there.
Yeah.
Because that's Jim Harbaugh doesn't have a spine. Jim Harbaugh isn't the guy that's going to fight and tooth and nail to prove my innocence. And this is adversity. And I am going to stay here and I'm going to right the ship. And I am going to fight for fuck off.
Go take that's why you asked for full immunity, huh?
Go take your huge payday in the NFL, Jimmy. It's easier and they don't require you to have morals, ethics, or a spine.
Yeah.
I honestly think that's what happened. I got my ring. Why do I care? My brother was here. My family was here. We all hugged. It was emotional. Look at me. You can never take the tape away. Look at the ring. Oh, Jim Harbaugh's not a champion. Right? Like, and Michigan fan that wants to make him out to be, come on. It's amazing. If Connor Stalions refused to do what he did, Jim Harbaugh would have fired him. So no, he didn't have much of a choice. Connor Stalions, is somebody in the comment section? I really don't want to go back and read it. Are you telling me that you believe Connor Stalions had a choice? Have you not read the Connor Stalions story? All that cat ever wanted to be was something of a solution at Michigan football. If it is true, and I don't think it is, it's strictly my opinion. If Connor Stalions and whoever in that department said, go do what needs to be done. And what I think the conversation, in my opinion, could have gone something like, we need you to understand what their signs and signals are. Do what you got to do, but I need to know exactly every sign and signal. And my guess is, and talking to people in football, a lot of people believe it was not Ohio State or some big game. My guess is it was a one-off game. It's just probably some meaningless nothing game. And Connor, the switch went on in his head. Because when you were, and you probably don't care about this, but when you're stealing signs or trying to decipher signs and signals, you're looking for commonalities, right? Think about tipping pitches with your glove. When a pitcher's on the mound, and every time he throws a fastball, the glove's up here. And every time he throws a breaking ball, the glove goes down a little bit. It's like, oh, hey, that's what deciphering signs and signals are. That's why guys in the military are paid so much for it. Connor Stalions has that mind. My guess is, my opinion is, it was some meaningless football game where Connor was sitting in a dark tape room, probably on his living room. He got tired of fixing vacuum bags, picked up his laptop and was like, okay, here's Poughkeepsie State. Let's see what they're going to do. And then he's like, every time that guy scratches his balls, they run through the A gap on the left side. And then you just start building out from there. And then he said to himself, well, the all-22 doesn't give me the exact angle I need. Man, we really need to beat Wisconsin. Hey, Jenny, what are you doing? Any chance you're free this weekend? Okay, well, how about I buy you a plane ticket and I send you to Madison? Would you do me a favor? Just come by the office. Are you able to go to Madison this weekend? Okay, cool. You know what? Come by my house. She comes over. He's like, hey, here's a cell phone. Take this and here's exactly what I want you to do. Videotape the sideline. Here's a plane ticket, or here's Venmo here's tickets. I'll send them to you in the app. That's what I think happened. Do we have to paint a picture where does the story have to go that Jim Harbaugh's like, Connor, I want you to take this cell phone and give it to your friends? And I highly doubt that happened. But you know what I do think happened? Connor Stalions put a playbook together on a football team. And he told Jim and Sherrone, or probably told Sherrone, hey, I have all the defensive signals. I broke them out. Stood next to Sherrone that game and was like, okay, this is, they're going to blitz off the corner and the go route's going to be wide open. Sherrone calls the play. Go route's wide open. Touchdown, Michigan. And it goes like that. And my opinion or guess would be Sherrone went to Harbaugh and said, hey, crazy super fan over here, fucking vacuum guy.
Yeah, super fans actually super.
Right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now we get tape of Connor standing next to Jim Harbaugh. And we see everybody going, Connor saying something, and everybody going, oh, on the sideline. All the Michigan players having fucking grand mal seizures. Oh! Probably too much. I've probably gone too far now. But that's my guess. I don't think it needs to be, well, Jim Harbaugh told Connor to use a publicly available Venmo. Come on.
Which, again, if that's the case, Jim Harbaugh is still guilty. Say it with me.
He's very guilty. Doesn't matter if he knew or didn't know. Doesn't matter if did Jim Harbaugh order the code red? Yeah, I don't know either. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All right, couple more. King of Thailand. Funny, haha, conundrum. What are you? I don't know what that means. Okay. King of Thailand. Whistleblower protections suck. It's a small fraternity. Connor had zero choice. I tend to agree with that. Ralph Wolf. To be fair, how many coaches win the Natty? There's like 3 current ones. Who cares? The question isn't how many win the Natty, how many win it with ethics and morals? Or more to the point, how many win it without doing what Jim Harbaugh had to do to win it? Oh, all of them. That's right. Because nobody else has been accused of doing what Jim did. Right? Like, come on, man. Come on. That's just, you're being, Jake's golf TikTok, outstanding. Might want to learn how to use a putter without stabbing at the ball. Johnny Gonzalez. Hey, Jim, you thirsty? What can I get you? He told me, give me a Mountain Dew code red. Exactly. Oak State James for $5. For Michigan's punishment, can we get into their locker room and pour liquid heat into their jock straps? Yeah, let's do that.
That sounds like some rectory behavior, bro.
What are you doing? Jeff Johnson, he tried getting his players more money at SF. This was the beef with him and the owners. Gee, what a bad guy. That's not at all what happened. Anybody telling you that Jim Harbaugh fought for his players at the 49ers has no, I was there every single day. That's not close to what happened. That is not at all what happened. Jim Harbaugh left as soon as he could leave the 49ers because he can't win. I don't know how many more times I can tell this. Jim Harbaugh will get you right there. He just can't win. He is not the coach who is capable of building a program from the ground up and winning a Super Bowl. It's not Jim Harbaugh. It just, does he make your quarterback better? Absolutely. Excellent quarterback coach. Does he motivate his guys for the first 18 months they're together? Absolutely. Excellent motivator until you get burned out on his bullshit. Does he spend time in the locker room loving on his guys for the first half a season? And then when a guy shows you that he can't do X, Y, or Z, he bails on him. And he burns guys out. In no way, shape, or form, in anybody's description, was Jim Harbaugh, did he leave the 49ers because the owner wouldn't pay? That's one of the guys who actually spends money terribly wrong. The 49ers are not a cheap organization. That's the best part about this nonsense right here. They're not cheap.
No.
They don't try to cut corners.
They pay, guys.
You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. The natural. Ralph is going to use Harbaugh and Weiss as the standard for his kids to live up to. You can't make this stuff up with these people. It's ridiculous. It is. The Michigan fans that hold on to Jim Harbaugh for dear life, I'll never understand it. I'll never understand it because they're just, he is, you guys, he is a bad guy everywhere he's been. Stanford, the 49ers, Michigan. How long until it goes bad in LA? And maybe he gets a longer term there because the owners are bigger scumbags than he is. But go look at his track record.
I also think that this question about what the NFL will do in response to this is an interesting one because we know that the NFL does not want to be seen to be the escape hatch for guys doing ridiculous things in college. So I don't know if the NFL will wind up doing anything or taking any action on this, but I do think it's something to pay attention to as this kind of moves along.
Yeah, I don't know. Should the NFL suspend Jim Harbaugh?
I
I
mean,
think it's a really if he gets a
if he
because
gets a substantial discipline, I think they might have to.
there's
Yeah.
some belief that Jim Harbaugh will get a lifetime coaching ban in college football. Multiple people have told me that they believe it was discussed in the highest quarters of the NCAA about whether Jim Harbaugh should ever be allowed to coach college football again. And the biggest question is, does the NCAA want to set that precedent? Because this suspension is going to tell you one of two things. The NCAA used Michigan as its last best flex because the NCAA is going to have no purview over football here in another 2 years. They're going to have no purview over football. And all of the Michigan fans are like, blow up the NCAA. The NCAA is not going anywhere because again, I have to explain far too often is, who's the NCAA? Oh, that's right. It's members. And who are its members? It's institutions. It's not going anywhere, right? So they're going to lose purview over college football. It's going to have its own entity. There's a lot of people who believe one of two things. This is going to be a slap on the wrists. Anybody that was coaching there at the time is going to get a significant penalty. The university will get a massive fine, $10 million. Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
There's other people who believe death penalty, drop the hammer, show them we have balls and cock, let's go. Like there's people who believe. I just don't think there's any way, shape, or form, no how, no way. Ain't no way that happens. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, we'll see.
GTI Brandon. Guys. Hey, guys.
Guys.
Can we all just agree how good Monty looks in royal blue? It fits him and should be permanent. Go Cougs.
It fits him and should be permanent.
This shirt's not going to be permanent because it is a shopping bag on me right now. So, show them we have length and girth. That's right.
Stay hard.
We have length and girth.
Yeah, bro.
You show them.
Length and girth.
Right? I wonder which way. Okay, let's get into the comment section. Even Michigan fan. What do you guys think the penalty? What do you think it will be? Not what it should be. What do you think the penalty will be? Jake, I think Jim Harbaugh gets a lifetime ban or the equivalent of through whatever show cause notice. I think Connor Stallions gets the same. I think Sherrone gets a 5-game suspension. I think Michigan gets a $10 million fine.
I think Connor Stallions will get a lifetime ban. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to get an additional 10-year show cause notice, bringing it to 14 seasons. I think that Sherrone Moore will get a season-long ban, and I think that they will discipline them on the recruiting front, but I think that will only be for another season, maybe 2 at most. Like you're not. Because I agree with you. The NCAA is always tiptoed around the current players paying for the sins of the past. So
yes.
I don't think we're going to see some ridiculous
55-year recruiting ban.
Like they're not going to do that. I completely agree with that. But I definitely think there has to be a component of the discipline that is in the recruiting piece. I don't think you can just leave that out. So that's why I say a season or 2 of some type of recruiting discipline. But I think that what the NCAA is going to do here, and I don't love it, but I do think this is what they'll do. They're going to want to create headlines with with the show cause notice portion in Jim Harbaugh. They want the headline to be Jim Harbaugh gets a 10-year, a show cause order. What they want, they're trying to produce noise, and they want Michigan to pay for this publicly as much as they will in a literal sense. So again, I think that they're going to give Jim another 10 years of show cause order in addition to the 4 he's already got. I think Connor Stallions, because he's such a poster child for this, will potentially get a lifetime ban. I don't think that's I don't think that's a ridiculous thing. I think that's very likely to happen, and I think Sherrone will get the rest of the year because Sherrone, while he did initially, obviously delete the text messages, he did end up turning his phone over and cooperating, according to all the reporting I've seen. So I think they'll go a little bit lighter on him just because of that. But
Yeah.
it's got to be some form of that.
Yeah, I don't think that there will be. I just don't. The NCAA very rarely does popular opinion. They
Mhm.
they very rarely do. I think in all likelihood, I think it's Harbaugh and Stallions that are gonna get really beat up here. I think Sherrone Moore will get the slap on the wrist. I mean, and I think other than Harbaugh, Sherrone Moore should get the stiffest penalty. He won't. But I think Sherrone gets 5. If he gets a 5-game suspension, who gives a rat's ass? Like, this wasn't a championship caliber team this year anyway.
No.
This is you have a young quarterback that you're trying to develop and grow and learn. And I mean, this wasn't a year where you thought Michigan was going to be a 12-game winner. Like, come on.
No,
Like,
this is a building the program year anyway.
yeah. Johnny Gonzalez, Michigan penalty will be time served. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so, bro.
I don't think so. But show them we have length and girth. I like that one. Yes. Jedi says, Ralph, move along. You're getting smoked on here. Oh God, what did he say? Harbaugh built the David Shaw. No, he did not. Fuck. How can you? Are you dense or are you just trolling? In no way, shape, or form. This is God. I'm done reading your stuff, dude. Like you just like go and read Dan Wetzel's latest tweet. Okay. I haven't looked at Dan Wetzel all day. I don't follow him closely. Let me go to the old X machine. I think he's just Dan Wetzel. There he is right there. Dan Wetzel's latest tweet, first one's pinned. Dan Wetzel's latest tweet was 9 hours ago. With John Daly hanging out in the parking lot, the Hooters near Augusta National was a tradition unlike any others. Now it's closed, a small change in how the increasingly luxurious Masters and maybe all of American sports is being experienced.
Man, hell of a tweet there, dude. Wow. Man, nice job, dude.
Is it something other than that? The NCAA is formally, he retweeted Pete Thamel. The John Daly tweet again. Then Jim Rome talking about Dan Wetzel's fantastic sextortion article. Taylor Swift.
What are you referencing, dude?
There's no Dan Wetzel tweet. There's no Dan Wetzel tweet that is anything referencing Michigan. I don't know what you're talking about. So bro, you probably should go to bed. Oak State James, penalty for Michigan, 3-year bowl ban, Harbaugh 10-year ban, Stallions 5-year ban, Sherrone 6-game suspension. They're not gonna do a 3-year bowl ban. They're not gonna do that to that. They're not gonna do that to the Big Ten because, as I have said, when all the Michigan fans put on their YouTube channels and tweeted about how I said that Tony Petitti is defending Michigan, he's not defending Michigan. Tony Petitti is defending the Big Ten. They will not. Michigan, for all they're not morally and ethically and as spineless scumbags as they are, the brand of Michigan football is really valuable to the Big Ten. And there's no chance, in my opinion, that the NCAA is going to punish the Big Ten like that.
Yeah.
I just can't see the damage that would do to the Big Ten. Because who's sliding in to replace Michigan as a brand? Nobody. Nobody.
You don't think anybody can replace them?
No. USC, Oregon. I think the Michigan Wolverines and Big Ten football are synonymous. Michigan
in
and
more ways than one.
I'll continue to say this. Yeah, that's right. USC and Oregon are not Big Ten brands. And I don't know what it'll take for them to get there. I don't know, but this ain't it. This ain't it. And all 17,000 of you watching the show, you tell me, is Oregon and USC a replacement for Michigan? I got news for you. They're not. Ed Enriquez, does Michigan get the pro rata they deserve? JD Wicker taking strays.
Never going to live it down, dude. Never going to live it down.
Gumby. Oh, boy. Going to Ralph. Bro, Google says Stanford went to more than 8 bowl games in 89 years. If you're not going to be accurate, why engage? Like, it's remarkable to me. No lifetime bans. Yeah, I don't think so. I think they're not going to say you're banned for life. That would be very contrary to what the NCAA has been. So my opinion is it will be like a 75-year show cause order or something stupid. It'll be like a decade. Like Jake said, I think it'll be, or whoever said, 10 years.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh will effectively be banned for life, as he should be. He has shown he has no desire to follow the rules and laws. The architect, Moore, is still there, though. This isn't him paying for something he had nothing to do with, like Meyer did. Well, and I think that's really smart. That's a really smart way to put that, architect, because Sherrone played an active role in it. And even if it just was, yeah, I agree with that 100%. Buddy of mine texting me right now. The NCAA has to show that it exists more than Michigan fans say it does. I think that's true. And
I would agree with that.
In parlance of this right here, yeah, I think you're right. Sherrone played an active role in that process. And deleting those text messages doesn't help.
That's what I'm saying. I'd give him the season. Give him the season.
I think Willie makes a great point. Jim Tressel lied to the NCAA. Ohio State got a year bowl and an NFL 3-game ban when he signed with the Colts. Currently, for being such an honest person, Ohio GOP made him lieutenant governor. Right? Remember Jim Tressel? Remember, oh my God, his name just went right out of my head. The quarterback at Ohio State. Raiders. Oh my God.
Marcus Russell.
No, Jesus. Who went to Ohio State? I can't. My brain's broken. Terrell Pryor.
Oh, Terrell Pryor.
Who I really like as a guy. I've spent a lot of time talking to Terrell Pryor. Terrell Pryor knew what it was. He knew what it was. And I think that most guys know what it is. And I think we'll see. But I think this is really smart. I think that's really smart. Joseph Harper, fines and suspension for sure. I'd probably throw at least 1 year postseason ban. You would think. I don't think it happens. Tressel suspension in the NFL was self-imposed. NFL had nothing to do with, Tressel just didn't want to appear as if he was running from his punishment. Well, I think there is a very good chance Jim Harbaugh serves some kind of suspension in the NFL. Big Blue Horses, I agree with Monty. Slap on the wrist. Heavy penalties are for little nothings, not big name blue bloods. It's too much damage to the Big Ten. It doesn't math. To Bohica the Big Ten like this does not math. The fine matters because you allowed Michigan to stay on the field and play in that postseason. They made a lot of money from that. The fine matters, in my opinion. So,
yeah,
it just is. It's kind of crazy to me. Terrell Pryor. Yes. Thank you. Terrell was a beast at the Ohio State, and he's a really good dude too. He's a good dude. Dylan Roberts. Terrell Pryor was driving new cars around Columbus, and Ohio State fans think it was about tattoos. Well, but dude, Reggie Bush, I think the thing that Michigan fan has to let go of, if you think this is the only time your program's been dirty as hell, you're completely wrong. Every program, I'm a Notre Dame fan as much as anybody is. Dude, do you think we're all like good Catholic boys?
And that's kind of the point, is that everyone's doing something. But the difference is Michigan got caught because of how brazen they were about it. You were just sloppy.
Yeah.
So I don't have Yeah, and so I don't have any remorse for you. I don't have any sympathy for you. But I'm definitely not sitting here saying that Ohio State or Texas or I mean whoever the hell you want to look at, dude. They're all gaming the system somehow in some way. And again, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. I'm a big believer in that adage. It's not those who are cheating; it's those who get caught.
Yes.
So Ohio State or Michigan,
Ohio
maybe
State.
maybe I know, and this is rocket science. I know. Maybe you shouldn't have run it up on Rutgers and company, and you wouldn't have gotten caught, dude. Maybe you should have been
Because
a little
that's
bit
ultimately what
wiser.
got them caught. You guys realize that. Jake's exactly right. We're having this conversation today because it wasn't one or two games. It was every game until it wasn't. And I think that's what got you caught, man. Like it's not in my opinion in question. And it is incredible how many people are texting me hoping that they get quote unquote SMU'd, as one of my friends said. Dude, it's not going to happen.
SMU'd, bro.
It is you rarely get punished on a level that you deserve.
Dude, the
It's
court
the
of public
NCAA.
opinion on this is going to be very, very. There's going to be heat in the court
It's
of
going to
public
be
opinion
ugly.
on this.
It's going
Yeah.
to be ugly. There's just no doubt. It is going to be ugly, and I don't know how it could be anything but ugly. I don't know how it could be anything but ugly. But ugly like your mama, because somebody's going to like it, and most people are going to hate it. And honestly, I think most people are going to be pissed off about it, except Michigan fans, because I just don't think it's going to be any kind of serious anything. William Bailey, I think they got caught because the FBI investigation into Weiss. I doubt that.
No, that's not why they got caught, dude. They got caught because the Rutgers head coach at the time said, "Hey, WTF, what's going on here? We're not, there was the game they played where they lost by like 30 or whatever. They embarrassed them." And
Yeah.
Greg Schiano, is pissed about it. And Big Ten coaches start talking, and guys start saying, "Yeah, we saw the same thing, dude. We couldn't quite figure out how they knew where to be, and it was just weird." And they were like, like they were just in spots that, because again, and this is the thing I think people forget about. When you do something every day, like especially in sports, like, and this is not unique to football. This is every single sport. Like you can watch the game from your usual spot and say, yeah, they're like 2 steps ahead of where they should be naturally.
Yes.
And I want to know why. Like our guys aren't even at X and they're already at Y ready to make the tackle. And that's the thing, is that you ran it up on bad teams that you were going to beat anyway because you were just being brazen about it. And that's what got you. And again, it is the perfect karma situation that is
100%.
how this fell apart and came crashing down.
And I just don't know what you thought it was going to be. I don't know. But I guess I always say this, like, what did you think was going to happen? And maybe this speaks to the level of depravity and the ignorance of victory. When everything's good because we won the games, are you just so blind to the fact that somebody's going to be pissed you're so successful because of this? I think so. But, I guess karma. Yeah, I think. Whatever the penalty will be, one thing is for certain. Michigan's going to have a Kenny Dillingham day tomorrow.
Okay.
Maybe.
That's a good effort right there, dude.
I knew today would be shitty.
Yeah, that's a good effort right there. I can appreciate that reference.
I
Okay.
wasn't sure that you were going to put that together.
Okay. Okay.
I'm proud of you, Jake. Even though you never play drops when I want you to play them, just,
Obviously not.
All right, a couple more. Replica, who's been a member for 12 months. Sorry to get you doing your job, Jake. Are all Michigan fans born in stupid?
Bruh.
Well, no,
Dude.
stupid town is East Lansing. Damian Fowler, a member for 22 months.
Damn, bro, we are racking it up today.
Weiss coaching game after they knew punishment, dude.
Which, again, that's a whole separate issue, which I think Michigan fan hasn't quite figured out yet, dude. The Weiss thing is a separate issue from what's coming out tomorrow. Like, I hope you guys understand that, dude. That is a separate thing from the sign stealing scandal.
Do you guys believe that there will be Matt Weiss punishment for Michigan?
There has to be. There has to be.
Is it so egregious and over the top that maybe you get away with saying we had no idea what he was doing? Even though he was under your roof doing it. Even though.
But again, that flies in the face of institutional control.
It does.
I mean,
but again, this is, bro, this is so, what Matt Weiss did is so disgusting.
Yeah.
It is.
But again,
so heinous.
Not new for the Big Ten, right? I mean, this is right up the Big Ten's alley. This is the exact type of material the Big Ten is used to, with all due respect. All jokes aside, I mean, yeah, I mean that's what this is. So I don't think you can let Michigan off the hook for the Weiss thing. I don't know that I would be.
I don't think so either.
I'm not sure that I would be crushing them for it, but there has to be some type of something. You can't just sit here and let analysts in some back computer room do whatever the hell they want and say, "Oh yeah, we had no idea. All right, guys, we believe you." Like, that's not how life works, right? Like, I mean, if we're just gonna if we're gonna let Michigan off of that, then the next guy who's some D-bag who wants to do stuff like this is gonna do it and know that he's not gonna get in trouble.
You can't just let him skate. I don't know. We'll see. I am so just the Matt Weiss thing is so disgusting to me that I can't even imagine it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I can't even imagine it. That it is so disgusting to me that I can't even think that they would not get punished for that. Can you believe he did that? Like, I'm sitting here thinking to myself what Matt Weiss is accused of doing.
Yeah, just chilling in the back office, just exposing people's nudes. No problem, though. No problem.
Allegedly.
I mean, yeah, allegedly.
I'm amazed by it, and I guess it just is what it is. But I am looking forward to tomorrow because I want to put this story to bed. Like, I'm tired of waiting for it. And Dude that abides. Hello, dude. Matt Weiss didn't start his crimes at Michigan. He'd already been on that. Yeah, that's true. I think he should be paid dearly, and should anyone who was aware of it. He worked for the Harbaugh brothers. Like, I hope people understand.
It's a family affair, dude.
Yeah, I hope people understand that, because this idea that Jim Harbaugh is any kind of innocent with Matt Weiss is ridiculous. And again, I say, how do you support a football coach who let that happen under his watch?
Let all of this happen.
Most companies have software to keep their employees from looking at bad stuff at work. How could Weiss get away with this at Michigan? I would call it a lack of institutional control. We need details first.
This is what you don't understand. This is what you don't understand. He wasn't looking at the bad stuff on a Michigan computer.
No.
What he did is he used the Michigan computer and the access to the system to get people's names and information and all of that. Then on a separate device.
That's right. He leveraged NCAA relationships. He leveraged available information to compromise those kids.
Yes.
And it is just, I mean, it's horrendous.
I mean, it's the definition, Bailey, right? It's the definition of failure to monitor.
Yeah. It's horrendous. Roche, what's up, Roche? Does Michigan have rollers in the athletes' cafeteria? Ooh, I am amazed. I'm amazed by it. I think it is the Matt Weiss thing is a totally different conversation. But again, how do you let Santa Ono, how do you let America's worst athletic director, how do you let these guys, like, if you're a Michigan fan, you just keep giving all these guys passes. And it's like, it's this. Do you understand the laundry list that Ward, the scumbag manual, is dealing with on his resume? Does it not bother you at all what happened under Juwan Howard at Michigan basketball?
Oh, bro.
Does it not bother you at all the crimes against humanity that Matt Weiss is alleged to have committed while at Michigan? Does it not bother you at all what Santa Ono did, what Jim Harbaugh did, what Sherrone Moore did, what all these guys did? And you'll defend all of them. It's what I just don't understand. It's what I don't understand, man. I am amazed by it. Willie, should apply to just make it 2-year ban. Worse violations and multiple offenders. It's just all of them, man. NCAA versus Blue Bloods. NCAA gave Kansas basketball the okay to play a second string player named And after that, the NCAA vacated a Final Four for Kansas because they played him second string guy. They're not going to vacate wins here, man. They're not going to vacate wins here.
It's just pointless.
Yeah, I don't. Ralph, if you're going to insult people in this chat, dude, you're going to be gone. You're new here. And you are here as a guest. If you're going to roll in here and say people don't know football, you should probably leave now. Don't come in here and start insulting people. This chat's been here for a decade, and we don't need you. So remember that you are here as like a favor, because you're starting to say some stuff that you're not going to insult people who have been on this show and who are here every day talking football because they disagree with you. So come on. William Bailey, who is saying Michigan is a blue blood? They absolutely are a blue blood.
Yeah, they're a blue blood.
Yeah, there's no question about it. When stars align, I'm so disgusted by every aspect of Michigan. This is completely ridiculous. I agree.
Love seeing all the new names, by the way.
Yeah, good to see everybody. Charlie Parker, I believe they will vacate the natty. Charles.
But here's my question. Like, okay, let's say that they do. What purpose does that serve? Is it because you can't, because if you vacate the natty and you give them the discipline, you're just doubling down at that point. Like giving them the discipline. I guess the question is, if you vacate the natty, does that mean you're not going to discipline them on the recruiting front because you took away their natty? Like, is that? I just don't think they're going to do that. That doesn't make sense. Why would you do that when you can just discipline them in recruiting and move along? Like,
wait. Ralph Wolf, this is the kind. Okay, now for sure you're done. Justin Spiro, who Michigan fans have torched for how long, is now all of a sudden a source for something? You are now using Justin Spiro as a source. God, you're just so disgusting to me. Like, Justin Spiro has been talking about this story, and Michigan fans have said he's a clown. They've insulted him. He sucks. He's this, he's that. Today, I saw that he was tweeting about how he thought it was going to be a very soft penalty. And Michigan fans were like, oh, I told you. Oh, look at this guy, the source. He knows everybody. Shut up. You guys are, my God. All the games can be vacated, but they still have that money and the trophy. And the trophy. Like, it's amazing. Ralph, I have been a football fan since the early 80s. I know college football. If you're insulting Oak State James, who's one of the longest standing members here, you should leave, or I will have you leave. I'm not going to dude, there's a lot I'm willing to put up with. Day one guy coming in here and insulting people's not one of them.
Yeah.
So I'm not that guy. We don't block people, but I'm happy to block you if you're going to insult people. You are welcome to your opinion. You are welcome to be, Head up your ass, Michigan fan. Great. If you're going to insult people, you're not going to be here, dude. And if I see it again, you're not going to be here. The Office fan, Michigan will be a solid team, just not in week 2. OU will wins by at least two TDs. Boomer. Well, there you go.
Nice
There you
shoes,
go.
by the way, bro. Those are nice.
Those are sweet. William Bailey, is Ralph a Ferris burner account?
I didn't want to say it, but that's what it looks like. That's what
I
it looks
believe
like.
that he is.
Yeah.
So, just keep going. We actually had people say Michigan's getting the death penalty. Okay. And thanks, gentlemen. You're welcome. Shouty. Hey, y'all, we need don't know new friends, Lil Wayne. Exactly right. We don't need no new friends. I just, you guys, I think if you've listened to this show for any amount of time, I'm open to the idiot fan that's going to defend somebody no matter what. Like,
yeah. Because again, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. Yeah. That's fine. That's your opinion.
I don't have any problem with it. Yeah. I don't have any problem with it. And I just hate guys like Ralph Wolf who come in here and they're like, I'm the best. You guys are idiots. You don't know this. You don't like, dude, we don't ain't nobody got time for that. Right? Like the community on this show has been here long before you were even boiling in Pop's bag, dude. Like it's not something that in my opinion it is, there's no reason for it. Right.
Yeah, there's just no need for it. Like, just generally speaking, like, I don't know why that's got to be the take. Like, why is the strategy got to be come in and start, insulting people? I don't really get it. And you're doing it because you're most likely a Ferris burner account. So you've been here a long time.
And you just got YouTube filtered for 60 seconds. So the process has started. So you said or did something. Willie, put an asterisk next to it, like Ford Frick did to Roger Maris in 61 when he broke Ruth's homer record.
But what is that? Does that make us feel better? With all due respect, dude. I mean, I don't mind the take, but like, does that make you feel better about what happened here? Asterisk, they cheated. Michigan cheated to win the national.
Yeah, and nobody ever said death penalty here. I think I've been saying for how long that death penalty doesn't exist.
Yeah,
it's not a real thing. Ralph Mouth, happy days, dork, could be. Ralph is deleting his own posts. Oh, okay. I thought, no, he got filtered for 60 seconds. So, no, we haven't. We have never said that they were getting the death penalty. We've never said that. YouTube, Algo still undefeated, and I should know. There you go.
You should know, bro.
You should know.
You should.
Monty, Eric acts like Ralph all the time, but he doesn't insult people and call people stupid and, and there you go. Admitting that you're Ferris. Hey, dude, he's back on. Great. I am, that's not Ferris. He's voice of college football, Michigan Goober. Well, he could be, more from Ferris in 60 seconds.
Yeah, we'll be back in 60 seconds, bro.
Exactly right. All right. Hour number, wow, we're almost 2 hours into the show. Hour number 3 and 2 and 1. Frankly, all of our stuff is presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. You never pay the Advocates out of pocket. You have nothing to lose. You have pretty much zero risk going to the Advocates because you're going to get clear, risk-free advice when you need it most. If it doesn't feel right to you or it doesn't feel right to them, we all part as friends, right? Unless you're Ralph. But the point is, we all part as friends, but 9 times out of 10, the Advocates are going to set you straight and tell you, hey, you don't have a case, or we don't think you have a case, right? It's that 1 out of every 10 where you have a case and your workman's comp isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing. And I know this is shocking. I know this has never happened to anybody on this show, but your insurance company won't cover something they're supposed to cover. The Advocates are going to fight that. When they're trying to pay you less than you deserve, the Advocates are going to fight that because you didn't deserve to get into that accident. You didn't deserve to get attacked by your neighbor's dog. You didn't deserve to get, hit on your motorcycle because that car cut in front of you. You didn't deserve that. But what you do deserve is somebody to fight for you. Hand the Hand the insurance process, the claims process to the advocates. Let them fight it because they fought it and they've won repeatedly. You get back to the best version of yourself. Get to the advocates.com, 24/7, 365. Talk to an actual real injury attorney. No chat bots, a real attorney, 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. All right.